Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for showing up for yourself, for your healing, for your process. And we want to honor that commitment that you've made to be here with our commitment to you to be of maximum love and service for everything that you're going through. As we grow, we accumulate tension in the body, and this tension comes from physical and mostly emotional stress. So what we have noticed in all this practice over years of doing this kind of work, the emotional stress from things like a sense of fear or abandonment or regret or anger, pain of any type, any of this emotional pain, it stores in the body as a holding. And it can be in the muscles, it can be in the organs, it can be anywhere. You have anywhere that the nervous system is in the body, there can be holding, because the mind is then controlling this nervous system, and it holds that electrical charge to keep a constriction. So when we are doing this breath work, we are allowing the body to put extra energy through all these channels to open these constrictions. It's kind of like a garden hose. If the garden hose is flat and straight, then the water flows freely. If the garden hose has any twists or binds in it, then where the water engages that bind, the pressure goes way up, and then there's less water coming out. And that pressure going up is what we would call pain in the body. When you have an energetic constriction anywhere, there tends to pain to arise, and that's how we'd see like joint pains or cancers or headaches, So for all these reasons, the breath work has a way of relaxing the nervous system. Now, that's on the physiological side. On the more spiritual side, the energetic side, the conscious and subconscious mind are constantly in a state of achieving balance. And what I mean by that is the body wants to heal itself, but the mind insists on preserving its perspective. If we can tip the scales towards the priority of authority towards the body, meaning that the mind is not controlling how everything happens, but the body is allowed to start making decisions to let things go, to process, then all of these things that the mind has been holding will have the opportunity to be released. And then you might ask, well, why is the mind holding these things? And the truth is, it is madness. It's crazy that the mind does this, and it doesn't matter that it's crazy, because it'll still happen. So if you were to ask somebody, do you want to be perfectly happy and healthy right now in this moment? Most people, if they're being honest, would say yes. And yet, most people are not perfectly happy and healthy in this moment. And the reason why is because intellectually people can agree with a concept, but their actions and their behaviors will not be in perfect alignment with that idea. So, do I want to be happy and healthy right now in this moment to the fullest extent? Of course. And yet, there's probably a few places here and there in my life where I'm not quite ready to forgive somebody, or I'm not ready to forgive myself, or I feel perfectly justified in being angry about that one thing that one person did, or I'm still mad at my parents for the way that they handled this thing when I was 5, and I'm just not ready to let go of that. So there is the insistence on the conscious mind to preserve its perspective, and that insistence forces the body to hold on to things past their due. My teacher would say, the war is over. And the simplicity of that statement being, when the battle is over, you've got to go home. You don't stay there. You don't stay in the armor with the weapons. And so part of this process of breathwork is de-armoring. The war is over. You can take the armor off and relax.
As we begin breathing, levels of discomfort can come up on a physical and emotional level. So on a physical side, we might find ourselves reacting to that discomfort by creating bondages. So what we'll do to self-sabotage is we'll cross our arms or our legs, or we'll curl up into the fetal position. Any way where you see yourself holding tension or physically creating binds is a way for the body to try and protect itself, to hold on to that energy that is trying to flush through. So if you see yourself physically binding, it's a discipline to lay flat, lay straight, and allow the energy to continue to move. And then on another level of that is the mind. As Michael says, there's an imbalance in the body and the mind tries to dominate the process, especially as you're transitioning through the breath work. The first 5 to 8 minutes, I would say, the mind can engage in overdrive, trying to convince you not to do this. I'm uncomfortable. Why am I doing this? Who are these people? This feels weird. Some of the physical effects of this can be the tingling in the hands, a little bit of tension in the face, which can cause puckering in the mouth. All of that is really normal. So through this process, just coming back to the breath and relaxing into your process as things begin to move.
The transition between your normal state of consciousness and the altered state or the shamanic state that we're inducing through this breath work can be a little bit disorienting. It's kind of like going from being on land your whole life to being on a boat and experiencing the onset of motion sickness. It takes a little bit of time to orient yourself and to adjust to this new state. It's a more open, liberated state, and it's a beautiful place to be, and you want that adjustment. You want to be able to travel into these realms that are always accessible to you, but can be scary at first, just like being on a boat for the first time, or an airplane, or a helicopter, or whatever it is. These new places will enhance your quality of life and your perspective, and they're very important. So, when you feel uncomfortable, just acknowledge there's nothing wrong here. I'm not in any danger. The only reason I feel uncomfortable is because I'm just trying something for the first time. And for us, we've been doing this for a long time, and there's still, it's never like a snap and you're from now here to there. There's always a transition, and the transition gets smoother and shorter, but growing from one place to another, there's always a transition. So it's not to be avoided or to be fearful of. It just happens, and when it's coming on and you feel uncomfortable, this is very natural, it's very normal, it's part of the process. Just keep breathing, keep breathing. Don't let the mind come in with self-sabotaging thoughts. Stay focused, stay anchored in that intention. Let the momentum and the intelligence of the body take over. And when that does, when you get through that transition zone, which really a few minutes at the most, when that transition takes over and really relax into the music and the rhythm of the music, the sense of ease will come. So we will be playing music throughout the event. I hope you brought headphones, and we'll give you an opportunity to grab them if you haven't already. So there will be music to help guide you. We'll also be breathing into the microphone so that you can hear, one, to start the entrainment, but also periodically throughout the session. So if at any point you kind of fall into a story in your mind, which can happen, and if some cathartic experience or event comes up for you, it's okay to pull back from the breath for a little bit and to go into that story and to feel those emotions and let them out. But don't, we have this time, we have 90 minutes. And so in 90 minutes, that's a lot of opportunity to not just knock out one pain. We have the opportunity to address multiple things. And so if you get through something at a half an hour, we still got another hour left. So come back in, and when you hear the breathing, take that as a cue. Okay, it's time to start. I'm here and I'm committed. I want to get back into it. Let's find out what else is there. Part of this commitment that you are making for this experience is that you will get exactly as much as you give. It's very pragmatic. It's very rational in that sense. As Sean and I, we do our best to facilitate and apply our own energetic healing, holding the space and doing the work that we do behind the scenes. There is no way for us to force you to heal anything. It just doesn't work that way. We cannot force anything. What we can do is ease the process, kind of like a midwife of this birthing of these various things that you're holding on to. But we can't force anything, and because of that, you will always only get exactly as much as you give. If you give us this much, you participate a little bit, and you quit early, then your experience will reflect that. If you give us 100% and you follow the directions exactly as they're given and you are on par with the breath as it's instructed, you will get as much as you can out of the experience, and I would be surprised if it doesn't blow your mind. I can't make promises, but I would be shocked if it didn't alter the course of your life, because that's really the power of the breath work. And that's one of the things that I think is really, really important about this modality of healing, is that you are actually in charge of everything. It's your prerogative to do this work, and it's your power that creates everything that's happening. We are facilitating, we're helping, but it is your internal authority that is determining how much you're going to get out of this. It's not like other kinds of healing or plant medicine where someone else says, I'm giving you your healing, I'm going to fix you. There is not that. You are fixing yourself, and when you're done with this experience, you will see how powerful you have always been, and that you can tap into that power just by doing this type of breathing, being in this space.
Breathwork can be a massive catalyst for emotional shifting and physiological changes to your body. And during that process, you will find yourself purging. So purging happens in a variety of different ways. It can be simple as shaking, shivering, crying, sneezing. It's not our place to judge the process, and not judging yourself or however your emotions want to come out. So it's good to pull back and allow yourself to go into it for a moment and bring yourself back into the breathing after a little bit. You don't want to get too caught up in the story. Your mind will start attaching to it. Your emotions will start attaching onto it. So we're in the process of releasing, allowing yourself to watch the story come and then watch it go.
The breath work is for everybody. There is no dogma or agenda that we are implying or expressing in any way. We don't have any interest in changing your belief system. From our perspective, the only thing that we want you to do is to let go of things that are hurting you. And then whatever the fallout is from that point, that's up to you. Now, we do offer support. So, again, in a non-agenda, no dogma way, we do offer support in this healing process as you're integrating new information that's coming to you. So, if we have your email, or if you are checking in with the website, or if you're connected to our Facebook page, then that's the best way to get in touch with us if something comes up for you and you need assistance. It can be very possible that the healing process that you go through today will continue on for days or even weeks into the future. And something might just be kind of shaken loose but not completely dislodged, that will dislodge as time goes on. And when that happens, if you're uncomfortable and you need support, by all means, please reach out to us. That's part of this process, and we're happy to assist that. So the last thing to cover is the breathwork technique itself. It'll be in and out of the mouth, smooth, elevated tempo. So it's very, very important to have it smooth in both directions, no stopping and nothing sharp. So imagine the pendulum swinging. It has to be smooth. It doesn't stop anywhere, and it doesn't have any sharpness to it. So, and you'll notice if you're breathing too fast or too sharp, your shoulders will come up. So if you notice that, if you notice a tension or a squeezing, okay, that's too much, bring it down. If you notice that you've been doing some breathing after the guidance and nothing is really happening, you feel like you're just kind of laying there with nothing happening, you probably have slowed down a little bit too much. And then you want to bring the tempo up. And we will be coming in every maybe 10 or so minutes with guided breath to adjust the tempo back to the prescription. So again, it's now, if you feel inclined to breathe through your nose, that's okay. I recommend through the mouth because it is unobstructed. Some people might have a deviated septum or swelling through the mask in the face. And if you do that, it will reduce the amount of air that you're getting in, and it'll slow down your pace. It's okay. It's okay to depart for a little bit, but we want you to come back through the breath on that tempo. And it is through my years of practice, which comes from thousands of years of practice, that this is the most effective way to get you where you're going. And that's the recommendation. So simple. In and out of the breath, out of the mouth at this tempo. That's really all that's required of you. Everything else, there's nothing that you can do wrong. And that goes back to the twisting and the crying and that's all perfectly part of the program. Let that happen. The only thing that's being asked of you is to do this breath exactly as we say it and to not interfere with anything else that's coming up.